Okay everyone, so I'm going to be giving a few tips on things that you might not know on Blade and Soul. At least I didn't know till recently. So first of all is these pillars. So usually we go to these pillars to find parties, but no one ever uses them, right? But did you know that if your weapon is actually broken or needs repairs, run up to the pillar and click on your repair tool and you'll actually start repairing your weapon. So I didn't know that, and I would always run to a fireplace or try to find the fire to repair it. Until recently, I was actually reading, when I was playing on my second gunner, it actually tells you that, oh, these pillars can be used to repair your stuff. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's tip number 1. So tip number 2 is when you press your N key, it makes your minimap solid, and then click the comma key to make it bigger by holding down the Alt key to bring up your cursor and holding down the right mouse button. So you can draw pictures. For example, if I want to go to cold storage and I want to tell everyone, oh, we're going to go to cold storage, you can immediately put an arrow and say, we're going from MSP to cold storage over here. That way you know. Another thing is you can also ping by just holding down the Alt key and clicking somewhere. So if you ping a place, it will actually force your minimap to look over there. For example, I'm over here and I want to let's say that we're at MSP, okay? And I want everyone to know where cold storage is. I'll ping it, and then on everyone's minimap, it'll automatically drag their minimap to cold storage. So they'll know where to go. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3, this I found out recently. It's so normally my stash is very disorganized because I use the auto sort feature. So normally if I wanted to put an item into the stash, I would find the ones with the little arrows and I would right click them for them to go in. But did you know that there is a auto sort that duplicate items both in your inventory and storage will automatically be moved to your storage? You just click that, and then all the items that were in here would automatically go to your storage as long as you have a duplicate on it. So that was very useful for me, especially like after a few dungeon runs when you have like a lot of moonstones, sacred orbs, sacred crystals, and all this stuff, all these materials. I would just click this button and immediately it'll transfer all of the duplicate items here into my storage, and I don't have to worry about a thing. And it works the same with your basic. You also click this button, and if it's grayed out, it means that there's no items there. That's tip number 3. Okay, another tip is understand that all classes have 2 elements. So for example, the gunner will have shadow and fire, and every class has 2 elements. Just make sure that you understand that, and then you test it out yourself, playing on each element. Normally, when you start the game, it'll force you on a certain element till you hit around level 20 in the story. Then I think there's a tutorial that lets you switch skills, but a lot of the time people don't test out the new build or the new skills. They just immediately switch back to what they're used to and just continue with the game. So just make sure that you understand that there are 2 different elements and the skills are very different. And that's tip number 4. Okay, and tip number 5. Press O to bring up your settings, and then when you're in camera options, over here, you can activate screen shake when attacking and activate screen shake when getting hit. You can deactivate this. For example, if you're a player that easily gets noxious by watching screen shake or it just bothers you, you can just untick these 2, and then when people hit you and when you start attacking, your screen won't shake around the place and it won't be really confusing or really messy. So that's tip number 5. Tip number 6, another thing that you might want to know is also the repeated actions on key hold. Keep this ticked. This is extremely useful if you just want to hold down a button and repeatedly cast that spell. I always have this ticked. That way, for example, on my Blade Master, when I want to spam Dragon Tongue, I just hold down right mouse button and it automatically casts 6 Dragon Tongues for me. And I don't need to try to do timing or button mash or anything. It's much more relaxing to just hold down a button. And that's tip number 6. So tip number 7 is to find out how many materials you need to in order to upgrade an item. For example, let's say that you are over here where I am at level 9 of this weapon. So you would click on this and then make it specify starting equipment. You click on that, and then for example, I want to go all the way up here to Kunlong 6. So I'll click on that and I'll put a flag on it. Then immediately over here, it'll tell me all my different paths. So I have reinforcement path 1, 2, 3, and there's a whole bunch of different options. But option number 1 will always be the cheapest one. So you can look at over here, and then you see, you just click on it and it'll show you the path. You see the orange line will be the path that it takes to upgrade your weapon all the way there. Then when you minimize it, you can see here it automatically tells you that you need 75 of these quality hallowed elements. You need 7 of these these red petals. Then you need 59 of these sky stone shards, 5 of these, So it'll tell you all the materials you need in order to get your weapon from level 9 all the way to my Kunlong level 6. So that way it's much easier for the player to understand, like, oh, how much I need to farm or what materials I should be farming for. And it's just very useful this way. And that's about it. That's all the tips that I have for you guys today. And hopefully you've learned something, or hopefully something was new. If not, well, at least it's a good revision, right? Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the rest.